1971, Iran threw an extravagant and exclusive party to commemorate the 2500th anniversary of the Persian Empire. The party had a grandeur never before seen in the world's recorded history. It had delicious food from the world's best restaurant, exquisite drinks, luxurious accommodations, medieval European-style decorations, and more importantly, the party had the most decorated guest list. Heads of state from 65 different countries, emperors, kings and queens, princes and princesses, sheiks, sultans, and business figures of all kinds from 5 different continents. The venue of the event was not some ancient castle or a 7-star hotel. Instead, everything was organized from scratch in the middle of a desert by building plastic tents. The cost of all of this? Not $1 million, not $1 billion. This party almost cost a dynasty. One day, the Shah had this idea that he should invite the world's most elite people, emperors, kings, presidents, and sheiks, to Iran to throw a super extravagant, exclusive party for them. He believed that this multi-day event would boost Iran's global image. It would show the world what a magnificent country it had been, and how it's reviving its lost glory, its lost position as a superpower. They didn't have grand hotels or luxurious castles to keep their elite guests, so after much consideration and going through different options, they chose a desert, the dry, dusty, desolate patch of lands of the ancient city of Persepolis, as the venue for the event. It was decided that a royal village would be set up in these deserts using tents, but first they would turn these deserts into a forest, so they imported trees, an incredible number of trees. Around 15,000 trees and an equal number of flowering plants were flown in to be planted on site. Iran was already suffering from an acute water shortage, so planting trees in the desert for a 3-day event was an insane idea. To populate the newly made forests, the Shah imported 50,000 songbirds from Europe and released them on the site. 20,000 sparrows were brought in from Spain, most of which died within a few days because of the lack of water and the adverse climate. At noon, the temperatures of the site topped 40 degrees Celsius, and at night they dropped below 0. The Shah also built a golf course in the desert. Normally, in events like this, you would expect to see local artists and craftsmen do most of the work. After all, the whole point of the party was to showcase Iran's glory, but the Shah was a sophisticated man who only trusted world-class professionals, so he outsourced most of the work to renowned European companies. To build the royal tent city, the Shah hired the famous Janssen company from Paris. Janssen came with a plan to build air-conditioned luxury suites and drape them with traditional Persian cloth to make them look like tents. Each one of these lavishly furnished tents had 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a sitting room, and a kitchen with a cook and servers available 24 hours a day. Each tent could easily accommodate 5 people. Hundreds of French architects, interior designers, and craftsmen worked for over a year to build these tents. To facilitate the transportation of goods, the Shah built an airfield in Shiraz, some 50 kilometers away from the venue site in Persepolis, and a highway connecting these 2 places. The Iranian Air Force was put to the task of hauling stuff. For almost 6 months, the Imperial Iranian Air Force made repeated trips between Shiraz and Paris, flying goods which were then trucked carefully in army lorries to Persepolis. Each month, supplies were driven down the desert highway to deliver building materials for the Janssen-designed air-conditioned tents, Italian drapes and curtains, Baccarat crystals, Limoges china with the Pahlavi coat of arms, Porto linens, an exclusive Robert Haviland cup and saucer service, and thousands of bottles of expensive wines. They brought 30 tons of kitchen equipment from Paris just for Maxime's for food preparation. The agricultural department planted acres of small pine trees along the newly asphalted road leading to the stone ruins. In order to light up the dark 30-mile road from Shiraz to Persepolis, the National Iranian Oil Company set up torches fueled by oil barrels and distanced them 100 meters apart from each other. The Ministry of Tourism constructed 2 brand new hotels in Shiraz, named Karush and Dariush, each with a 150-room capacity. Lesser prominent guests and media persons would be kept there. Needless to say, the table had the most delicious food possible at the time. The menu came in a thick booklet in 2 languages, Persian and French. Without getting into the details, I'll leave you with the fact that they even had roasted peacock meat on the menu that was served with restored tail feathers. 600 guests feasted on a menu never to be repeated or forgotten for almost 6 hours, making it the longest and most lavish official banquet in modern history, as recorded in successive editions of the Guinness Book of World Records. Iran, being a religiously Islamic country, wasn't fond of alcohol, but the Shah's party was drowning in expensive booze. 2,500 bottles of champagne, 1,000 bottles of Bordeaux, 1,000 bottles of Burgundy, to name the specials. Everyone and everything was there, but if there were something missing from the party, then it was the Iranians themselves. To maintain the exclusivity of the party, the Shah hadn't invited his own ministers. Only a handful of those who were looking after the preparation were present.